So we're going to dig deeper into another big headline of the day. The second largest school district in Western New York has some new leadership today, and we have reported on the trouble in the Williamsville school district throughout the pandemic and the widespread complaints about longtime superintendent Scott Martzloff, who was forced out last fall. Now, Dr. Darren Brown-Hall has moved into that office, and we are glad that he's decided to join our town hall today. Thanks again for being with us live to chat about this big new change for you and for the district.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Right off the top, we want people to know you are the first black suburban school superintendent in Erie or Niagara County, and also the first openly gay superintendent in those two counties. That is a big deal for a lot of people who are watching right now. I wonder if you can reflect on that and also tell us what this process has been like for you.
Absolutely. So, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the recognition, but I want to be visible so that any other young student, young boy, young girl that is gay, or they are having trouble dealing with their sexuality, they can see that, there are people of color who are gay, who are doing great things, and who are really providing and doing great work in society. And, I want to also say that, and I always say this, but I appreciate the Williamsville board, the stakeholders, and the search consultant, Lynn Fusco, ensuring that there were no artificial barriers in place that would prohibit a qualified person of color to advance through the rigorous process that they set up to hire a new superintendent. So, I appreciate them for that, and I'm glad to have been selected as the next superintendent in Williamsville.
Talking a little bit about your background, you come from the Buffalo School District where you were the chief of staff, so essentially number 2 behind Dr. Kreiner Cash. You led the reopening for the district, which was the last in the state to reopen for in-person instruction. So for the parents in Williamsville who had pushed for in-person instruction 5 days a week, that may be a little bit of a concern for them. So what would you say to those parents?
Right. Well, what I would say is that every district is different. So in Buffalo, our demographics were different, and we knew that COVID-19, it affected Black and brown families different, right? So we had to be cautious in the city with our return. It was a slower return, but we had to be very cautious. We took the advice of our medical director, Dr. Dennis Quo, and we applied steps accordingly to have our students return. Now, as I said, every district is different, but every parent, there were a bunch of parents in Buffalo that also wanted their students to return. And so we worked with those parents to let them know what steps we were taking to have their students return. Now in Williamsville, all grade up to grade 4 students are back in school 5 days a week. So we will work once the transmission rates are low enough to get our middle school and our high school students back as often as possible also.
We think we're going to be talking about that a lot on Monday, because when you look at the numbers and the metrics that are used, we may get below that 100 mark early next week. So that could be changing. A little bit of a preview. We're going to have the county executive on Monday. But let's end quickly if we can. Your expectations for the fall as we look ahead. How different are things going to be for the fall? Or maybe I should say, how normal may things be there in Williamsville come the fall?
Right. Well, every school district, Williamsville included, we are looking to have a return to full as much as possible with all of our students, all of our schools. But we also want to be very cognizant that some parents may not feel comfortable sending their students back because the vaccines may not be available for students under the age of 12 yet. So we want to also explore remote learning options for the fall so that every parent has a difficult decision to make with sending their kid back 5 days a week or keeping them on remote learning. And we want to be able to accommodate as many families as possible to ensure that all students are getting a quality education, no matter what medium they choose.
We have been talking with Dr. Darren Brown-Hall, the new superintendent in Williamsville. Thank you again for your time, and have a great weekend.
You also. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right. Be well.